What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is Camera Stoic Soldier. It's been a minute, I know. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone's having a great Saturday. Hope y'all are having a great weekend and a great week. My apologies for the hiatus. Needed to take a little time, get a few things right. A lot of changes going on, but we're moving in the right direction. Finally getting myself right spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally, in every way. Things are moving along, though, as I said. Business is finally slowly moving back up, going back to business as usual, and probably even better this time, as I hope the same is going for everybody else. Hope y'all are staying strong and focused, working towards your goals, getting things accomplished. And a few technical difficulties. Turns out one of the things I needed was a software update. And along with this mic, got myself a new little toy, as you can see. Got myself a cam for cam, if you will. I had to. Anyway, without further ado, let's get right into the video today. So, even though this channel's name is Stoic Soldier, as I've talked about multiple times in the past, there's a variety of different topics, different schools of thought, philosophies, religions, practices, individuals that I've learned from and who have ultimately helped turn me into the better version of myself and helping me get to where I am and who I need to be today, as I feel is the same with everybody. As I've mentioned in the past, obviously, Taoism, nihilism, no matter what school of thought or what religion you're part of, I feel that personally, as I'm sure many other great teachers and mentors have told you guys in the past, as they have told me, whoever you are and whatever aligns with what you believe in, that's who you should be. That's by all means. Don't feel obligated to change for anything or anyone unless you feel that you genuinely have to. As long as you're not hurting anybody, as long as you're not disturbing anyone, there's no reason. And more importantly, if it works for you and you found that you are successful consistently with whatever it is that you're doing, whatever your routine may be, whatever your mindset is, whatever your rituals are, if that works for you, great. Don't let anything or anyone change that unless you feel that it's not. Now, again, I, as an individual, believe that variety is important, even though I'm a big advocate of live and let live, to each their own. Whatever works for you, great. But it's still important to have perspective. It's still important to have new experiences, and that comes from variety. Variety alone is enough to give you perspective, opening up different parts of yourself by learning different parts of the world. You know, even if it's not necessarily visiting another country, which is a whole different experience, and learning a new culture and a new language, just going outside of the city, even dressing differently, something as simple as that. Variety, though, is crucial. And as I mentioned with my learning process, I've studied many different philosophies, from Stoicism to Taoism to existentialism to Confucianism, you name it. Dibbled and dabbled with a few, majored in a couple, of course. And same thing with religions. You know, I've studied a lot of Eastern philosophies and practices, from Buddhism to Hinduism being the oldest one known to mankind right now, to the Persian religion back when it was still Persian, known as Zoroastrianism, those of you who are familiar with it. And they all have their benefits, they all have their teachings. And one important thing to know is, regardless of the fact that these teachings may come from different parts of the world and different people, they all have their commonalities. And that's really important, because you come to notice that even when exploring a whole new field, going into a brand new study, as I, again, think that it's important we all do, you find these differences, you find numerous different distinctions, and along with that, you also find commonalities. You also find a lot of similarities. You realize that as different as things are, there's, even if they're whisper thin connections, you find that there are recurring themes in just about all of them. Even if it's, you know, whether you're learning a new language, whether you're visiting a new country or a new region, or if you're learning a new school of thought, something as simple as that, or a new cuisine even. Spanish and Asian cuisine, they're obviously very different and come from totally different cultures, totally different continents and parts of the world with different kinds of people. However, you find one commonality right there. Hey, what do you know? Rice and protein. Or with language barriers, Spanish and French, again, very different cultures, very different people, very different language, very different dialect with it. But you notice, hey, there's a couple of words that mean the same thing. Two, they both mean you. So whether it be one commonality, whether it be two, whether it be multiple, sometimes it's each. Sometimes it's one or two, sometimes it's multiple, sometimes it's a few. But seldom will you find anything, almost never, where there's not at least one or two things that connect to almost everything else. It's very rare to the point where you almost never notice it. And again, that goes with everything. As I mentioned in one of my earlier videos, when it comes to learning something especially, whether you're learning a new language, whether you're learning to go into a new field for work, it doesn't matter if you're going into the medical industry, doesn't matter if you're going into finance, doesn't matter if you're going into fitness and wellness, doesn't matter if you're going into corporate. What's one thing you always do? What's the first thing you do when you're learning something, when you're studying it, you're reading it? Whether that be through a laptop, whether that be through a mobile device, whether that be through a book, whether that be through a pamphlet or a syllabus or curriculum that you got to learn, you're still reading something. You're attaining information by reading it. Now, whatever it is that you're studying, whether you have to study the human anatomy, whether you have to study a corporate structure, whether you have to study a company's history, what's one thing that you always do when you study? You're not necessarily memorizing it, although you could get away with it sometimes, and yes, it does help, but ultimately there's a difference between memorizing and learning. This is something that one of my own tutors taught me years ago when I was still in school. Memorizing just means that you're repeating something word for word, whereas when you learn something, you think deeper into it. You conceptualize, you try to make it as applicable as possible. You understand the principle behind it. Just like if you learn a new word, for example, learning the definition alone is not going to help you understand it. Whereas if you start, for example, using it in a sentence, if you start finding words that are synonymous with it and seeing that they all have a very similar meaning and they're used in the same context, now you'll start having a better chance of understanding it. So same thing with what you read, even though there are some things that you do need to memorize. Yes, again, thinking more based off principle is going to get you a lot further, and it's going to make things a lot more simple for you. As they always say, simplicity is key. So whatever it is that you're learning, simplify it for yourself. Think concept. And again, going back to the whole variety thing, change of scenery, change of people, change of routine, especially change of people. Tony Robbins always says, show me the top 10 people that you're around. That's either who you currently are or who you're eventually going to be. Whether it's your old crowd, your current crowd, or a crowd that you end up being a part of in the future, that's ultimately going to be a reflection of you. So again, if it works for you, fantastic. If you feel that there's no need to change anything, by all means. But more often than not, the universe is a very cyclical construct, meaning that there's always changing, that there's always things changing. The one thing that doesn't change is the fact that things are always changing, as I was told when I was younger, and now I'm finally starting to get it. But yeah, we've all been there. Evolution is part of the way not just this world works, but every world outside of it. Nothing is ever going to fully stay the same, but that also means that it could end up changing back. So whatever you used however many years ago doesn't work for you now, you can put it on the shelf. You don't have to disregard it completely and toss it in the trash. You might be able to come back to it in a few years. You never know. I have. I'm sure we all have. But for the time being, those beliefs, those rituals, those routines that you have, do they resonate with the current you? Do they align with who you are now? Just like those friends, just like the groups that you used to hang out with. Do you guys still have the same interests? Do you guys still have the same goals? Do you guys still have the same priorities? Ask yourself these questions. It's okay to do these checkups with yourself. If you are not content and you're feeling it, but you don't know why, chances are you haven't checked in with yourself in a while. Just like how you got to do physical checkups, just like how you got to do checkups with your car, you got to do self-maintenance. And you are the only one who can do that. People could ask you, but you know the answer. You can't lie to yourself. You might be able to put on a mask for the world, but eventually you look in the mirror, you're going to see that because you're with yourself everywhere, all the time. And you take yourself with you everywhere you go. So do those checkups, ask those questions, answer them honestly, and then from there, it might not be a pretty road at first, especially given how long you may have been probably trying to deny it to yourself. But eventually, by coming to that realization of self-honesty, you'll be able to manifest that version of yourself and manifest those things in your life that were blocked from you for a while, that you felt that you've been missing, and even just working towards a better you by allowing those honest questions to be asked, and then they will be in fact answered over time. And that comes with just exploring outside of what the normal you is. So meet new people, try new routines. You could still come back to who you are eventually if you feel that that's what's right for you, but still make it a habit to explore. Just like how when you travel outside the country, yes, you have your home here in the US, for example, but doesn't mean you can't travel to Italy, doesn't mean you can't travel to Spain, doesn't mean you can't travel to Barcelona. Travel to these places and still have your home here in America. And then you can go travel again, get new perspectives, go back to the same places. You might end up liking it there, you might want to make it a regular thing, or you do it somewhere else. You can still come back to your home. Yeah. And the same thing applies up here. You can still come back to your old beliefs, to your traditional beliefs, the ones that you were generally comfortable with, or the ones that, again, align with you, but still make it a habit to travel. Cool? Anyway, guys, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. For those who may be wondering why I keep my videos to a certain extent, is because a lot of times when I go anything beyond the time limit that I'm used to, YouTube usually has a lot of trouble with processing it. So I'm going to keep it at that for the time being until I can figure out how to make more. Or maybe I just need new equipment for it, probably. But for the time being, I'm going to do it in increments, do everything in segments. And again, for those who support the channel, much love to you guys. I appreciate everything that you guys have done. Those who are new to the channel, welcome. And if you guys like what you saw today, I would really appreciate a like and subscribe. You got any comments, questions, concerns, suggestions, I'm more than open to them in the comments. And more to come in the next few days. Hope everyone's well, and I will see you guys soon. Stoic Soldier